Hello everyone, my name is Ishan Jolly, and welcome to this video where I'll be demonstrating how to get this level of audio from the BEACN Studio audio interface. So, this is how the microphone sounds like with all the effects I've applied, and this is how the microphone sounds like raw and untouched. So, let's get into this. Okay, so this is the preset that I've made. But let's start fresh. So just go through, disable everything, preset no EQ, turn off the De-Esser, bass enhance, everything, just turn that off. And let's start from the very beginning. So, first thing, if you have a dynamic microphone, turn off phantom power. If you have a condenser microphone, turn on phantom power. That's pretty important to getting, the mic powered. And then just set the mic gain. So whenever you're speaking, it's in this blue area. If you're really quiet, it's towards the low range. And if you're loud, enters the yellow, it doesn't matter, but just, have it about that range. So with this microphone, I like to use 27 decibels, and there we go. Alright, just so you can hear me clearly like you heard earlier, let's set up the compressor. So, these are my settings for compression. I love compression. What it basically does is it brings up the quiet parts, brings down the loudest parts, so your voice is just clear and loud and punchy, which is great for a stream where you have to talk over game audio, music, etc. Really good. So I think these settings just work really well. I think simple, 100%, 20 dB threshold, and 10 dBs of makeup gain, and you're set. You have nice and loud, punchy, bold audio. That's done very well. So if you speak quietly, you can see the attenuation's around 3 dB, and if you speak loudly, then you get about 10 dB of attenuation. Just, go for that settings. If you've set this correctly, then this will be set correctly as well, and you'll be set. Perfect. All right then. Now, noise suppression. What I like to do is just go with this adaptive noise suppression, set it to a low amount. If you've got a lot of background noise, you can increase it, but I think if you have a reasonable amount of background noise, set it to a low amount, like 40%, because you don't want to start taking out frequencies from your voice. Just kind of tames the background noise, and honestly to me, like it's taken out my computer fan completely. And this sounds great. It just works. And then expansion. There you go. So now this is so good. This is the best noise removal thingy I've seen on any audio interface. Like better than GoXLR, better than my £1,500 audio interface. So good. It's like you've taken out some of that noise, and then you use an expander to kind of just quieten down everything below this level. And now everything's just quiet, and when you speak it sounds good and natural. It's so good, because my main issue with noise gates is that you're speaking, and then you can hear this like background hum and fizz and whatever from the fans, and then when you speak, and then when you go quiet, it's completely silent, and it's such an irritating sound. But now with this, the noise suppression has muted that sort of fizz and fan noise and everything, and the expander has softened everything below minus 60 decibels, so it just sounds really clean and quiet. And it's so good. And now the fun stuff. EQ, de-essing, bass enhance, and excitement. So let's go through and do the EQ first off. So first off, that's really high up. Don't do that. First off, I like to go for 40 Hz as a bass roll-off. So basically, everything below this, it's not really needed in the human voice. So just take that out. My voice is quite low, so you may get some frequencies down there. Like here, you can hear me speak quite low without this, and then hear me speak quite low with this. But we're adding in bass enhancement and EQ, so roll off everything below this and compensate later. And then adding the second band, for my voice, I like to go 90 Hz, because if you look here, you will see the fundamental frequency in your voice. And you can see this is 100 Hz. My fundamental frequency seems to hover around 90, 80, 70 Hz. So I like to boost around there to add in some extra punch to my voice. So 90 Hz. And then with this, I only add 1 decibel of gain, just so it's a little bit more full, because we have the bass enhance. And then, you know what, I like to add in 3 on the bass enhance with the 3 style. And I think this sounds really nice, and just adding in that boom in your voice, because now it probably sounds quite muddy, but we'll be fixing that later. And then adding another band, I like to add 350 And then we'll tighten the Q on this one, so it doesn't take out too much width-wise. And then I like to do minus, let's go with -3 in this region. So it takes out that boxy frequency, some of that muddy frequency, and it just cleans up the audio, but you still get the nice rich bass in this region. But then now it's cleaned up and clearer sounding. All right. So then the next band I like to add is, now this will depend on your voice and the microphone, at 3000, and then just adding in like 2 decibels, just to add some extra presence into the voice, just to make your voice sound a bit more forward and clear, and just, you know, make it just sound a bit more present, which is nice. And then I like to add in the exciter. Now I believe this is what the exciter is set to by default, so honestly, if you like this, then go for that. And then the final band I like to add is just for an air boost, just to add some of that sparkle to your voice. So I go by 16,000, and I do a high shelf of 16,000, 5 decibels, a Q, whatever the default is, for just a nice high shelf to bring in some of that sparkly air sound, which I think sounds really good. And obviously, this is very highly dependent on your own personal voice. I have a darker voice, so therefore I like more excitement and treble. So maybe this is I go with like 50 on the exciter, and then just add in a tiny bit of de-essing to finish it off. So, so this sounds awful. It's like, I hate like heavy de-essers, but just like give yourself like maybe 5%, 5%, that still sounds a little high for me. I think 3% just kind of tames some of that sharp S sounds in my voice, but you know, depending on your voice, you may have a more sibilant voice, so you can increase it more. Just what sounds good in your headphones. And now I believe we have it. And then the headphones, this is just controlling what headphones you have. I like having it here. Mic, monitor, and headphones have that balanced, so when you route your audio later, you turn it down in the routing, and then you can have your stream mix sound exactly how it sounds in your headphones, so the volume is perfectly matched. But we can get into that later. Compressor sounds great, expansion, noise suppression, perfect, mic setup sounds great, EQ done like this. It'd be cool if you could do like a quick A-B comparison of turning everything off and on again. I guess this works. And so here is with the EQ we've done, and here is just with a roll-off, a bass enhance, an exciter, and de-esser. So, you know, there you go. And this is a pretty broadcast sound of EQ. So it very much depends on your personal preference. Maybe you don't like this, maybe you want a darker sound. So what's cool is, yes, right now I have it in my headphones mic monitoring, but it's a little difficult to tell what you've done while you're speaking at the same time. So what you could do is just say a nice phrase. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ishan Jolly, known as the JollyLegend. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ishan Jolly, known as the JollyLegend. Has that over it? Hello, ladies and... Okay, cool. So there we go, now we've got that recorded. And the cool thing is, you can change settings while it's playing, and just fine-tune it. So, now I can just go through and show what it's doing in real time. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ishan Jolly, known as the JollyLegend. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ishan Jolly, known as the JollyLegend. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ishan Jolly, known as the JollyLegend. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ishan Jolly, known as the JollyLegend. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ishan Jolly, known as the JollyLegend. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ishan Jolly, known as the JollyLegend. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ishan Jolly, known as the JollyLegend. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ishan Jolly, known as the JollyLegend. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ishan Jolly, known as the JollyLegend. So there you go. Okay, I don't know what I've done. I was just messing around. But this preset is pretty much the exact same thing, yeah. I'm pretty sure I just did it, yeah. It's the exact same. Yes, okay, cool. Right, so there you go. So what you can do, so basically that was probably quite annoying, but you record something, and then you can move these around, because EQ is very dependent on your voice. This is a very good guide, so just, you know, click the guide on, and you can see the warmth in body, the rumble, the mud, the boxy resonant frequencies, the clarity nasal frequency, the presence and harshness, sibilance, brightness, and air. So, I think this sounds pretty great. So I like a lot of air in my voice because my voice is dark. But if you have a brighter voice, then maybe you don't like that. So you can just turn that down. And maybe you have a lot of presence in your voice naturally, so you can just leave that flat. And maybe you don't like as much excitement in your voice, so you can leave that without the excitement done to it. And this is also a great sound. But I personally liked having that excitement in there. Because it's nice, because the exciter lets you dynamically add in excitement in the high range, but without just adding a huge boost, which just, yeah, you know, sounds really crispy and crunchy. I can get, not OCD, but I like seeing all these numbers be round numbers, so I don't want to mess with it too much. Yeah. 16K. 5 dB, you know, just move it around, and then you get this numbers, then you can get to something nice and round later. But there you go, these are some pretty great settings for the BEACN Studio to make your mic sound awesome. And it obviously depends on the mic. So this microphone I'm using right now is a very neutral sounding mic. It's meant for dialogue and stuff like that, and I think it sounds really good when you add in some of this broadcast style to make it sound broadcasty. But if you have a brighter microphone or more broadcasty or more bassy sounding microphone, then your settings will vary. So that's why it's just fun to play around, and you can see your frequencies in real time, and you can hear it in real time. So then you can get the awesome settings. But hey, this is a pretty good one. It'll mimic the kind of stuff I've done on the Go XLR in the past. And cool. Now we can overview the routing. Now, I'm not as much an expert on this as I am on the processing side, so yeah. But this seems like a really cool software for routing. So what you can do, you can have your music. So, you know, some clear, obscure soundtrack, and then Spotify will appear on the music channel. Yeah, there you go. I don't want to play too much in case of copyright, but yeah, there you go. Spotify appears there. And if you have the BEACN Mix Create thingy, then you can adjust this with the dials. Otherwise, you can just adjust it here and find your levels. You can have it different in your headphones compared to on stream, but I personally like having the exact same. Oh God, what have we done? There we go. I like having it the exact same. So what I hear is what it goes onto stream. So it's perfectly balanced in my headphones. So I got my mic maxed out, and then my game, I can set it to a volume that's like comfortable. So when I speak in my headphones, the volume I hear in my headphones of my mic and the volume I hear of the game is set well. So it's all balanced well and good. And then system and chat, so like your Discord, that's pretty great. And then what I love here is how I can have my headphones, but then once I'm done streaming, I can switch over to my TV speakers, which go through my soundbar, because I don't want headphones all the time. And that's really nice. And then this is cool. You can set all your default audio through here instead of through the Windows settings, which are really annoying. So your voice chat mic should be on both, because that's just the mic by itself. And yeah, that'll just go to Discord and WhatsApp and Skype and whatever. And then playback devices, so system, so everything that's uncategorized will just go to system. And default communication will go to chat, so your Discord and Skype and everything will go directly to the chat, so you have a different slider, because it's nice, because if you're listening to music or playing a game, the volume of that tends to be quite a bit louder than your friends over Discord, so you can have your chat set louder and the game set quieter, so everything's balanced in your ears. And then you can have it balanced for stream as well, or you can unlink it and then move it around, so stream is quieter or stream is louder for each individual thing, which is quite cool. And the routing table, which is really cool, you have a VOD track, so you can disable music for the VOD track, so I can listen to music on stream and then not save it to the VOD track. And then I'll show you how to do that in OBS in just a second, and I've covered pretty much everything here. What is this link thing? Oh, link it. Oh, this is interesting. Ah. I'm not exactly sure what the studio link thing is, but this could be something interesting to play with. Maybe you can just have multiple different sends. So maybe I can output to the audience mix, and I can also output to headphones, microphone. I'm not too sure exactly what this does, but this looks interesting. But yeah, and then once you go into OBS, I'll bring over my OBS. Great. Let's go to this. So it's still doing this, but whatever. And then you go into the settings, and then audio, and then you can have your, I was doing another video for that. Ignore this. So you have your audience mix here for your main mic, and then VOD track for the second mic. There you go. And then you go into advanced audio properties, and then you make sure that this is set to track 1, and this is set to track 2. So mic 1 is track 1, mic 2 goes to track 2, and then in settings, and then in output, Twitch VOD track, enable that, and set that to channel 2. So now, if you want to listen to music on stream, you can have it on the stream, but the VOD has a clean track with no music on it. So there you guys go. There is a full setup for the BEACN Studio audio interface, and this is how it sounds. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. I hope this helped you all out. See you guys in the next video, and goodbye.